So can you guys see the whiteboard?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
So let's see. Okay, so remember that we had, let's see, we had 3 absolute value of x minus 1 minus 2 equals 6x plus 1.
Of course. Of course.
That's kind of creepy. I don't know what you're doing there. All right. So for the absolute value, remember that we want to leave this part by itself, the absolute value part. That part should be by itself before we do anything, right? So what should be the first thing? What should we get rid of first?
The absolute value thingy.
Well, before anything, we want to leave that by itself. So how are we going to do that?
We're gonna do plus 2.
Oh my goodness.
So we're going to add 2 on both sides.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have 6x plus 3. And then to cancel out that 3. Huh?
-3.
Well, no, not minus 3, because remember, it's together, so that's like multiplication, so we would actually divide.
Oh, that's right. You divide it. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
So it should be 6 divided by 3, which is 2x.
2.
And then 3 divided by 3, which is 1.
1.
Okay. So that's what we got so far. So that's what we got so far is absolute value of x minus 1 is equal to 2x plus 1, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to split this into our 2 equations. So we're going to have x minus 1 equals 2x plus 1. And on the other side, we're going to have x minus 1 is equal to negative 2x plus 1. So this is just a review of what we were doing last week. So say we're going to subtract 2x on both sides. That should be negative x. And if we add 1 on both sides, then we end up with negative x. Oh my gosh. Negative x equals 2. We're going to divide both sides by 1, so we should have x equals negative 2. So one of our answers is x equals negative 2. Let me see if I can make some space because I ran out of everything. Okay. So on the other side, we should have a negative. So it should be x minus 1 equals negative 2x minus 1. And now same steps, except this time we're going to add 2x. And we're going to add 2. And we should have, or sorry, add 1. I'm not sure what I was doing there. We're going to add 1 on both sides. We should have 3x equals 0. And well, we can divide both sides by 3, but x is still going to be equal 0. So our two answers here would be x equals -2 and x equals 0. I remember that we still need to check our answers just to make sure that both of them are solutions. And I believe in this case, both of them will work. So we have two solutions for this one. So this is just a review of what we were doing last week, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So let me see. So the next thing is that we actually we're going to move on into the same thing, but this time with inequalities. So 6y minus 5 is greater than or equal to 13. So, with inequalities, we solve it the exact same way, right? I mean, usually with our problems, there's no real difference. Here's the only thing where I guess it's a little bit different. So at this point, we can split this equation into two. So we'd have 6y minus 5 is greater than 13. So that doesn't change, right? But then on the other side, we have 6y minus 5, and then we would have -13. So since it switches to a negative, what do you think would happen to the inequality?
The signs change.
Yeah, it would flip to the other side. So that's really the only difference that we have here. Okay. So the inequality just has to flip to the other side, and we would solve it the exact same way. So on both sides, we add 5. That should be 6y is greater than or equal to 18. And we're going to divide both sides by 6. So y is greater than or equal to 3. And then on the other side, same thing, we add 5. This is 6y and -8. And we divide both sides by 6. And y should be less than or equal to -4/3. So all we're doing is just simplifying that. Okay, now, I guess what we would need to do after this, so we have our two solutions, which are y is greater than or equal to 3, and y is less than or equal to -4/3. So if we were to graph this, and we're graphing this on a number line, if we add the greater than or equal to, what kind of dot would we use? And I mean, it's the same thing as domain and range, right? Is it an open or a closed circle?
It's a closed dot.
Right. And then if it's if it's an inequality without a line, we would use an open.
Open dot.
Yeah. If 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Yep. So -4/3 ends up falling somewhere around here, right? That's -4/3. And it is everything that is less than -4/3. So should we have an arrow going to the left or to the right?
I couldn't hear that really well. Sir, you were kind of cutting out. My
So
Wi-Fi sucks.
we would have an arrow, since it's everything less than -4/3. It would have an arrow going to the left or to the right.
To the left.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
yeah, I
it's
was gonna say, I
everything.
want to say to the left.
Yeah, because it's everything less than -4/3. So actually, let me do that in a different color. Let me just. So it'd be a closed circle and everything to the left of -4/3. And then on this side, we have the 3, another closed circle. And then our arrow going to the right. So that just basically tells us all the values of y that would work out in this equation, okay? And that's how we would graph the solution. So let's do one more. So we have the absolute value of 2x plus 3 is less than 5. So since the absolute value is already by itself, we can split this into 2. We have 2x plus 3 is less than 5, and 2x plus 3. And we're going to flip the sign, and we have our -5. Okay? Okay, so we're gonna subtract both sides by 3. That should be 2x and 2. And we're gonna divide both sides by 2. So x is less than 1.
That one was kind of simple.
Right, so we're gonna subtract both sides by 3 again. This should be -8, divide both sides by 2, and x is less than -4. So what's a little unique about this one, we have our two solutions here, which is x is so again, let me just make some space here.
So your ninja chopping skills are out of this world.
All right, so again, we're gonna have a number line. We're gonna have -4 and 1. I guess everything in between, so -3, -2, -1, 0, and 1. Okay. So first off, what kind of circles do we have here? Open or closed?
Open.
They're open.
So at -4 and at 1.
And 1.
Yeah, because one of our answers is 1 and the other one is -4, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this says that x is everything greater than -4. So our arrow should be going to the right or to the left?
To the left.
Up. So to the right.
Yeah, to the right. It's everything greater than -4. And x is less than 1, meaning everything that is less than 1. So
Going left.
going left. So if you notice, this one's going to the right. This one's going to the left. So all we would have to do is connect these two together. Okay. So
interesting.
So usually we would say, okay, we would write x is greater than or equal to -4 or x is less than or 1. But in this scenario, we can actually write the answer like this. Kind of like our domain or our range. It's everything that's going to be between -4 and 1.
That's crazy.
Yeah. All right, guys. So one last thing. Oh,
Wait, sir, don't take off the whiteboard. Not yet.
are you still writing? Or?
I was gonna do something.
Oh, you're gonna write something down. Hold on.
Okay.
Just-
Okay.
Okay, so just one last thing. This is just a regular inequality, but let's say we were solving this. What would we do to solve this?
Wouldn't you just do -12 and bring it to the other side? Or just divide it by 4?
Right, so all we would have to do is divide it by -4 on both sides.
Okay.
But if you guys remember, there's a special rule for inequalities, right? It only applies to inequalities. So what happens when we multiply or divide by a negative?
It turns into a positive, right?
Well, not necessarily, right? Like that applies to anything, right? So right here we would have 12 divided by -4. So what would be the answer there?
That's true.
-3.
Okay. But since the sign changed it went from a positive to a negative, there's something that we have to do with the inequality as well.
You flip the sign to
Yes,
the other side?
right? So keep that in mind just in case that comes up. Right?
Oh, I remember because you
Special.
always said always opposite.
Did I
right?
say that?
Yes, you said that. I read it I wrote it in my notes.
Okay. All right. So, okay, like I said, guys, keep up. Make sure to do that assignment on Delta Math. Okay, that's the assignment.
Yeah.